Mohammed, it's an interesting sort of dichotomy of each individual jurisdiction having its own aims and ambitions, and of course this regional cooperation. I just wonder, from your point of view, I think it might be fair to describe the UAE as perhaps the trailblazer in modern racing terms here. Do you see yourself as the standard bearer for the region?
Well, the idea of the council started by the boss, the chairman, who gave me the KPI last year, to coordinate efforts and align standards for all the big development and growth that's happening in horse racing in the Gulf. And I believe UAE started way before the other countries in terms of international racing. We started with as I said yesterday, the Jockey Championships in 92, 93, which moved into the Dubai World Cup Night, which moved into the Dubai International Racing Carnival, and that evolved now to the Dubai Racing Carnival and other international racing. And the infrastructure that was put in place at the time, and the regulation and all the standards that was created at the time helped us to have an advantage. Because we started earlier. But I believe most of the countries now in the Gulf, they are up at the upfront. We have seen how Saudi Cup came from 6 years ago as an idea to now one of the leading races in the region. The Bahrain International as well day. The race is attracting top class horses as well. We have seen Royal Champion winning last November. The Qatar Amir Sword is another very strong race that we have in the region. And Oman and Kuwait are coming along together to join the efforts at the GCC. So I believe we had the experience because we started earlier, but our colleagues in the other countries are catching up and they have the know-how, they have the knowledge. And I believe as a region, we are all now moving towards one direction, which is evolving racing in the region.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Selim, let me turn to you. Princess Noura talked about you being the new kid on the block, which I think is a little bit unfair, actually. Nonetheless, let me ask you about that sense of cooperation and the challenge of the role and how you see Saudi Arabia fitting into that regional challenge.
Well, thank you for this question. I think the Jockey Club of Saudi Arabia sees itself as a vital catalyst within a larger ecosystem of horse racing in the world. We're aiming, as you see, that to deliver world-class horse racing, but we also recognize that to deliver so, we are among regional and global systems that actually care about horse racing. So we thought that to move along and grow with success, we need to find the simple strategy, and that strategy would be operational harmonization. And that's basically working with a synchronized calendar, integrity standards, welfare and logistics standards as well. For example, if we take a look at the racing calendar, we're moving away from having isolated races in the region into a more of a unified type of calendar where horse owners can find it as an easy path where they one day can participate in Saudi Arabia, tomorrow in Bahrain, Dubai, Doha, Muscat as well. Along with that, we thought about the protocols of movement from a country to a country. We would like to have that seamless experience for all the horse owners to move from these countries with ease and to win in each of these countries where the prize money is actually the invitation, but these type of harmonizations would be the thing that backs it up. Along with that, we felt the adoption of a type of unified rules of racing and anti-doping protocols would definitely give some ease to the horse owners and trainers, regardless of the jurisdiction. All of that together is simply a win-win situation for everyone involved, not only the horse racing jurisdictions, but the horse owners as well. We are part of this, we feel we are responsible, and this is something we need to give back to the horse race industry.
Obviously, all jurisdictions have their own, as I said, their own objectives, their own targets and aims. You mentioned the calendar there. I just wonder, and I don't have the calendars in front of me for each of you, but how challenging is it to manage that and to create a collaborative calendar across the region?
Well, it's not an easy process, to be honest. Each jurisdiction has its own mandates, and sometimes they just have to lean by what they have. But at the same time, once we show that our cohesive work can bring better results, not for Saudi Arabia, for example, but for other countries as well, then we can try to convince this is the best way to go ahead. This is the best way even to invite the best horses from the world, and each of these jurisdictions can benefit from that.
Yeah, Ed, that's a good question I should have perhaps put to you as well, which we'll get to in a minute. But in terms of Bahrain itself, what's the unique proposition that you bring to the table?
Well, Bahrain's role is rooted in its development and its connection. First, the development of our racing product and our identity, and then I suppose how that can contribute to the wider region's growth and success. For a bit of context and beyond racing, Bahrain has always been a hub, a connector and a gateway to the region, a country that really understands the importance of cooperation and the value of working together. I think if you look across the region at the moment and what you're seeing in sport and the magnitude of events that are coming here to the region, you'll see it on Saturday when some of the world's elite horses will be gathering here in Riyadh. It's very inspirational, and that inspiration is clear to us in Bahrain, but so is our vision, and so is what we want to do in terms of our development as a racing jurisdiction. Our chairman, His Highness Sheikh Issa bin Salman Al Khalifa, has always driven us to be a racing jurisdiction defined by excellence, by integrity, and by opportunity. But to couple that with an experience and an identity that is unique to Bahrain. We very much value personal connection, and that's something that we try to get across not only through our racing program, but through the wider experience in Bahrain. But I think when we look at our program and how that's developed over the last 4 to 5 years, and the introduction of international racing has helped get that message across, and I think that's what we're adding and we're complementing to the region at the moment. For those that don't know, we've only really been doing international racing for the last 6 years. The introduction of the Bahrain International Trophy back in 2019, and then the inception of the Turf Series just 2 years after that. Very much giving a platform for people to come more than just one day. The International Trophy is a kind of a one-day a year, and at the early stage of our program, because it fits on actually to the kind of the European pattern, but the Turf Series gives a platform for that opportunity, for that competition throughout the rest of the season. So it gives us a platform to welcome people to the region, but also for the region to engage with that as well.
Thank you very much indeed for explaining where you fit in that regard. Let me ask you, Rashid, if I could, from the Qatari perspective, you obviously put a lot of store and investment in international races overseas. How does that fit, and what does that contribute in terms of the, if you like, the closer to home racing environment?
Assalamu alaikum. As a started, not only Qurek point of view and vision, it's also part of Qatar 2030 vision to invest in sport in general. And from our side as a Qurek, we believe in that strategy. We believe in supporting the vision towards the biggest income and the benefits that reflect back directly and indirectly to the country itself. We can say we saw a couple of existing examples in starting from 2006 until delivering today. There is a cooperation, whether establishing or even hosting a mega events in Qatar, with cooperating with our friends all around the world. It has the benefits from the economical side, also promoting the brand itself, the name itself as well. It goes directly to the ecosystem of racing that we develop with our team, our staff, for the best programs, handicapping as well the race program schedule. I believe back in Qatar, We see horse as a part of the community, its identity, not only in horse racing, which is a major event and field we're having. We can see Qatar is active in a couple of also horse competitions, show jump, as the Doha Tour has established with a prize money above 10 million euros, attracting the top elite riders and horses as well, establishing with cooperating with our colleagues in GCC, Asia, Europe continent, and as well the American continents with a beauty show Arabian horse with 10 tours, each one of them are above $12 million. And for sure, horse racing. Many carnivals, many races. The top carnival for us is the His Highness Emir Sword that will establish or will begin starting of today.
And if we come into the races themselves that you have, how do you set your carnivals and your events apart from perhaps some of the others in the region? I'm reflecting particularly on the Emir's Sword Festival, for example. What's the differentiation point for you?
His Highness Emir the Sword has the biggest value for us, whether as a participant or as organizers and all for all the domestic trainers and jockeys who's participating and owners as well who's participating in the festival. There is a full calendar back in Doha starting from mid of October until the end of April with above 80 meeting race with more than 580 races that based on the figures of Qatar, 2 active venues with a listed group races that starting from the season until the end of the season. As example, the International Derby, Qatar National Trophy, the Ox Cup, and His Excellency Sheikh Joan Trophy, as well His Highness Festival Emir.
What, Ed, I said just a moment ago, Chairman of the Gulf Horse Racing Council's Race Programmes Technical Committee, we had a reference at the top there to the pattern book, to the sort of work that's being done to pull things together. What sort of initiatives do you need to come to sort of, if you like, cement some of this council's work?
Yeah, I mean, Mohammed addressed it in his opening remarks in terms of the importance of collaboration, and I think that was very much one of the first objectives in this committee, is we collectively identified that there's perhaps a bit of a responsibility for us to be working together so that we can show off and showcase what the golf program has to offer. So that was very much one of the first objectives, is let's get this dialogue going. Let's examine how we can make the most of our most important races. How do we maximize participation? How do we encourage cross-border participation? Yes, within the region, but from bringing people from outside the region in and then letting them move around and experience the different racing jurisdictions. And then, of course, as you said, the pattern book, I suppose, is the first measure of success of the committee and what the council had kind of instructed upon us to do. And it's, you know, it's the gathering of 70 thoroughbred pattern races and 43 pattern purebred Arabian races, all in one collated document. And I suppose that allows ease for trainers to open up a book and have a look and see pathways, see timelines, and navigate their way through a pattern. You know, it has to connect when you're building your own pattern in your own jurisdiction, but we need to start looking at how that maybe connects a bit more broadly. I mean, as an example, we have 4 horses from Bahrain running in a race here on Friday in Saudi Arabia. We're already discussing our program for next year, and we're considering, well, if we have this race which shows such significant support from Bahrain on a yearly basis, we had the runner-up last year, then we need to consider actually our program and how that can complement the wider region.
What does that mean? What in terms of how it could complement? What sort of specifically, what does that mean? What does that look like? Yeah,
well, I suppose it goes back to the point on communication and opening up a wider program. Each jurisdiction in isolation has a program there that is accessible, but how are we unlocking it for our trainers, as I mentioned, for trainers who want to come in, base themselves in the region and work their way across the program. I mean, in terms of our winner from the Bahrain International Trophy, Royal Champion, he lines up in this week's Neom Turf Cup, which is an automatic invitation race. So there are initiatives that exist. It's just how we build on that.
Okay, Salim, I mean, I note each jurisdiction is putting a huge amount of investment into racing. It's part of a national vision, and that has to be your number one priority. So, which just leaves me to wonder, what is your sense of responsibility to that broader Gulf region in a way? Because I guess there is a sort of hierarchy of priorities here.
Well, when it comes to us in the Jockey Club, our aim basically matches our national ambition. We've been hosting major events in Saudi Arabia. You've heard about the Rally Dakar, the Formula, and on top Saudi Cup, of course. And we're trying to lead and at the same time show our responsibility that we're part of this and we're bringing all the great minds into the industry into this one. You know that in 2030 we're hosting the Expo 2030 and then the FIFA World Cup in 2034. So it's our responsibility to be part of this and as well as to show that our collaboration is actually bringing better results for all of us together, for the region, and be as a global powerhouse for the whole industry, for the whole racing region.
You mentioned at the start, Mohammed, the importance of the ARF and the standard setting sort of bar there. Is that a driver for you, in fact? Is that the standard setting bar that is driving a lot of the work within the Gulf Council? 100%,
and I think the opportunity was seen at the region, at the Gulf region, by everyone else, and the recommendation came from basically the IRF on standardizing the rules and the regulation and taking and adapting the best practices across all the countries. And I believe that helped us as well to put together this council and work together. We have access to different authorities if we would like to benchmark Hong Kong or Japan or Australia or any other country. We can benchmark their rules and regulation and pick what is best for us for the region. And just to elaborate a bit about on what Ed and Salim has said, when we are in the GCC Council, I think we are all wearing our GCC hats. What we have achieved 1 year after the establishment of the Council, I think it's significant that we have a brand now. We have basically one brand that talks about the Gulf racing, horse racing, and that's a brand that promotes racing in the Gulf. And today, when we look at this council, we look at how we can make this racing product within the Gulf a more interesting product. We know that, Dubai has great racing, Saudi has great racing, Qatar, Bahrain, but how we can make it even more competitive for people to come, base themselves in any of these countries, and then move around. Be based in Dubai, participate in Saudi, then go to Bahrain, then have a runner in Qatar. All of that. The aim is to create this region, to create something very special in this region in terms of product. The prize money is there, the infrastructure is there. We're trying to harmonize now the rules and regulation to make it easier for people to adapt, and then try to make them come, be based here, and enjoy this racing product that can be something very significant for international riders. And it would encourage local owners as well in each country to improve their, to improve their horses, their products. And I'm an owner in UAE, but then I have the chance to go and race in Bahrain or race in Qatar or in Saudi or in Oman. So all of those are things and opportunities that we are creating in this council for people related to the industry and part of this industry.
I mean, you are quite a new body as a council, so perhaps I could ask, and you've listed all the achievements to date, all the agreements. Where is the work in progress? Where are the areas that you feel you need to now move ahead on to develop that sense of cooperation and that one spirit as you talk about?
I think we clearly identified 3 areas we want to focus on. And one is the horse movement and veterinary, where we want to make it very seamless for horses to move, create a single health certificate, try to maintain the health status, not at the country level, but at the region level. And then we have the race program, how we can program our races to complement each other and to create a beautiful product for everyone within the region and coming to the region. That would be difficult, but we try as much as we can to create that program. And then the rules and regulation, the integrity part, which we would not compromise whatsoever. We want to make sure we have best of the best when it comes to the rules and the integrity of racing in the region. So those are the three areas. We were discussing as well, myself and my colleagues, about establishing something or a white paper on the sustainability of racing in the GCC, how we can make this racing more sustainable by attracting more owners, getting more companies, getting more syndications to be involved and be part of this. And you know, as I said in my talk yesterday, we invest so much in technology in this region, and we would like to be at the forefront of technology as well when it comes to solutions that would help horse racing, will help the welfare of horses, solutions like wearable technology. All of these are things that hopefully we, as countries, we would look into research and potentially develop.
So when you say, sorry, sustainability of racing, are you talking about financial sustainability or the social license element? What does sustainability mean for the council?
Financial sustainability is the key. This is the, I would say, a pressurizing point for racing worldwide. We have a very special product here where wagering is not there. So we need to make sure that racing is sustainable. We have more owners. There is a growth in number of owners. There is the ecosystem built around it. Racing plays a significant role in contributing to the economy of countries as well. So all of those are very important, having the right companies, the right ecosystem, in UAE, in Saudi, in Bahrain, Qatar, and Oman and Kuwait. So that's very important. Actually, since we came together as a council, we have received as well interest from other countries to join the council because they saw the collaborative spirit of the council, the outcomes, the results. We're taking this very seriously. I think myself and the colleagues at the coordinating committee, we said, you know, if we are taking this responsibility, we'd better deliver and we'd better show results and outcomes, not only to announce and not to show anything. And I think we have in 1 year showed something, but I think in the next 2 to 3 years, there'll be way more things that would come out from this council.
Okay, that's interesting. Yes, Salim.
I would like to relate to your question you asked, and the same thing Mohammed has mentioned by giving an example. If you recall the horse spirit dancer, in one season he had different participation in Saudi Arabia, Dubai, I think Jebel Ali, and then he went to Bahrain and won as well. That was in one season. We need more of spirit dancers. We need to make that whole harmonization work for more spirit dancers to come here to the region, spend more days, spend more time. And doing so will have definitely, answering your question, that type of tangible returns. Once you have more horses spending more time in the region, that's basically more income returns. And this is higher field sizes. And that's a lot of transactions going on the ground and taking place. On the other side, if we start looking at the intangible results, there is so much trust that we're building together and showing the world, and at the same time showing the world how this type of cooperation can actually be helpful for the whole industry and setting an example for that.
So in effect, it's sort of filling out the calendar to a certain extent. And then issues like horse movement presumably have become so much more important. What's the sense of urgency? Any of you, tell me, in terms of getting these things done and dusted. And I ask that nicely, but you've done a lot in a year, but there are clearly some really important things that still need to be achieved. Ed?
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, because it's all connected, and I kind of say that you need the work being done by the horse movement and the rules committee to walk, so that the race program committee can run. You know, it's very well promoting a program that connects, but actually, if we can't connect between the countries in terms of the movement of horses, then we're going to struggle to build that regional pattern. So you know, that's something that's obviously very important, and that's being addressed as one of the more urgent matters.
And in terms of urgency, Mohammed, you mentioned other jurisdictions coming in. How urgent is that? How much do you need to have a sense of a sort of, I don't know, the tipping point in terms of Gulf cooperation?
I think we have a lot on our table. We need to deliver on those. What we have achieved is, I would say, 5% of what we want to achieve together. So we'd focus on achieving our mid and long-term goals, which are already set and discussed with leadership. And then we would look into expanding the role of the council beyond this. But we would welcome any support or any collaboration that any country or any authority would like to have with us. And on the horse movement, I think that's something very urgent. Dr. David Craig leads those efforts in the technical committee, and I put so much pressure on him to make sure that we have a single health certificate, we create a green corridor for horse movement, and to ease and to create hopefully a single health status for the whole region. That's his role.
Yeah, I don't want to be the negative one up here, but I want to ask about teething problems. Where are the, I said work in progress, where are the challenges going to be, do you think, to find a full alignment? And what are the most important areas where that has to happen? We've talked about horse movement, for example, a little bit about calendar. What are the areas that really need to come into play? Is it all about the standards of the horse and integrity levels, or is it more about how you manage your operations on the bigger regional scale? Any of you?
Well, basically we're doing a lot of things that require some type of regulation changes, right? Like any development changes. It takes time. A lot of it is governmental work, and that needs a lot of time, and it needs a lot of necessary approval and such things. We are in a hurry to actually start delivering results, and we would like to see those results as soon as possible. But we're definitely going into a path where we actually need the right approvals to help us. And thank you for our leadership. They are behind all of the efforts that we actually see. They're supporting the industry just like supporting all the other sectors in the kingdom, and we are appreciating that as well.
Rashid, what do you most want to see develop out of this council?
Actually, we have a great mindset here. Each one presenting the Gulf country. There is some of the point has been implemented, and some of them at the table in progress, I believe, under the lead of His Excellency, the Chairman, and the representative from Gulf country, there will be an alignment. I can see that each country and jockey clubs and racing clubs, they are doing amazing domestically and also reaching internationally. We look forward to support the trainers, owners, and also reach internationally by cooperating. As the Gulf area, we can see it's a hub for the best horse racing carnivals, let's say, for the thoroughbred and for the Arabian purebred as well. And we are looking forward, for sure. There is an ambition and there is a lot of work to do together. And we do trust each other on the same page to have the best experience and the strength for the horse racing.
Are you getting a sense of, I mean, it's a learning process, isn't it? It's also a knowledge transfer process. So are you each being able to draw from the experiences you're getting in terms of this council for developing your own jurisdictions as well?
100%, and I believe each of us is adding to the other. We learn from each other, we complete each other, we talk to each other. I think this council helped us to be closer to each other as authorities, and how we can, share knowledge, take best practices, and sort things out. Today, if I need anything from Qatar, I would call Rashid, and Rashid would get it done for me. And likewise, Ed, Salim, and the rest of the team. And I think the team in the council is putting so much effort to get these results out, because some of the things are not under our control. They're under the control of other ministries, other authorities, and we need to lobby them as well and explain to them the vision and show them why it's so important for us. And I think we have successfully managed to take good steps into that direction, and we'll continue to take those steps until we reach we reach the goals and the milestones that we have in mind for this council. But I believe, yes, I think this is a great platform to bring people together, learn from the best practices around the region.
You want obviously to feel that much more a part of this international community as well, I imagine. And Salim, perhaps if I look at Saudi Arabia's position, you've had the International Horse Sports Confederation, the World Organization on your doorstep. That was for animal health as a workshop. Is that another direction to take, to bring more of those sorts of forums, of conferences, events onto your patch, your collective Gulf patch, if I could put it that way?
Well, this shows our intent. We're serious in this, and we would like to deliver results, and we'd like to lead in this. And by hosting such forums or conferences just like this one, is that we're all present here. So it shows how much we feel toward our community and how much we would like to bring all the great minds together in one place and share that experience. So yeah, definitely future conferences, forums, and just as I give you the examples of hosting the bigger events like the Saudi Cup Expo 2030 and the FIFA World Cup in 2030. So we're into this, and we're responsible, and we would like to deliver, and hopefully we'll definitely deliver that and show the world that we can be an example for every jurisdiction, and all of the collaborative work that we do here together is going to be a great example in the future, and for other jurisdictions to follow as well.
It's important, Ed, actually, when you've got a new institution like this and a council you're developing, that the next part of the next job is communicating it, isn't it? And which here's a forum where you can do that. How much is that something you consider as you look at the work that you're doing on the council, getting that message out as to what you're achieving?
Very important. I mean, it's important that we celebrate the success of what is going on in the region. As I said, you'll see it on Saturday, the highest rated dirt horse in the world is here in Riyadh, and that's a message that we want to share. I mean, we're at the Asian Racing Conference. The Gulf makes up a considerable portion of that federation, and it's important when we go to the federation, we're going there as a collective, and we've started that in the race program committee in terms of notifying the Asian Pattern Committee already of our proposed race dates for next year. We did it when we put in our applications for race programs to give them a collective, here is what we are doing in the Gulf, and here is what we're putting forward towards the federation. And from there, we're only going to get stronger. And it's a vice versa, that our collective success will help us individually, and vice versa, and then we can celebrate the success not just within the region but globally.
Mohammed, perhaps last word to you in terms of where you see this going within the next 3 to 5 years, in terms of where it will leave you on the global stage.
Well, and I think we have identified short-term goals, medium-term goals, and long-term goals. In terms of achieving the vision or meeting the vision of the council, I feel the council will continue to evolve and progress, and with the right people with me leading the council as well, I think we'd be achieving our vision. We would be creating the Gulf horse racing region and product for racing that would attract international people to come, not only for the big meetings, but for the different kind of racings and festivals that we have around, where they would have full trust in the product, full integrity in the product. They'll have the ease of moving horses between countries, and they will enjoy it and enjoy the culture of this region. I believe this is where we'll head. This is what we'll create, as I said, a brand for Gulf Horse Racing Council, which would be a brand of racing that people would go. They would not say we'd go to this country or that country. We'd go to the Gulf and enjoy the product of racing there.
I think I'm right in saying you're just coming up for your first anniversary of the council's first meeting, is that right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Well, let me tell you,
time
you
last
are.
year in Riyadh.
I'll tell you are. I think it's fair to say you've been quick out of the stalls over the course of that year, and it's clear that an awful lot has been worked upon, has been achieved, plenty more clearly nonetheless to do. But can I thank you all for contributing to a greater understanding of the work you're doing, the challenges you still have, and the opportunities for the future. Ladies and gentlemen, to our panel, thank you very much indeed, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Right.